Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner stream. And tonight is going to be the Chef 5-minute meals, spaghetti, and meatballs in sauce. I'm going to go ahead and take off this outer plastic. It's just a type of packaging that you would get with items that are more commercial in nature. And so since I really don't, it's too small to use as a trash bag, I just have like a Walgreens bag to my left that I'll be putting the trash in. This time, it has this plastic band around here. I have not seen this before, so this is relatively new. I guess it's to keep the items together during packaging. But, you know, I could see where there could be a problem with if this band is put on too tight, it could bust the foam tray. So that's all this is just a plastic band. So this tray is meant for if you're eating this away from home. So anyway, this is a gusseted retort pouch, and it has the nutritional information on there. So it's a standard 8-ounce portion, or 227 grams. So that will go into the kitchen. Royal cream crackers. So there's 2 crackers in there. Banana chips. Instant granola cereal with latte. And a folded tortilla. It's a 1 whole wheat tortilla. Here is the flameless ration heater with the water bag inside. This is mixed fruit jelly. You can put on the crackers or the tortilla. Select custom seasoning, so it's a salt-free seasoning. And you get a little spoon with a napkin and salt and pepper. So you get salt-free seasoning and salt and pepper. And then you get 3 of these cinnamon disc candy, or peppermint disc candies. It's actually a spork. So I'll The napkin was hiding the fact that this is actually a spork. Your standard catering service pack. That's really all these are. Let's see, we got spicy tuna rolls is here. LC is here. Nation MRE Finds is here. John's MRE is here. Emphos is here. I'm just going back through the chat. Booger Butt and Booger Butt. One or both of them. Probably just one of them. And that is it for who is in the chat so far that has commented. No drink comes in these meals, so I have that option covered. For my cold drink, I'm going to have a lemon lime. That's how fine that powder is. It coated the side of a dry drinking jar. With these types of drink mixes, I like to mix them first because they take longer to dissolve than others. And then for my hot drink, I'm actually going to do one of these. That smells like some pretty good coffee. This is actually a coffee bag, and it's a little bit bigger than the Folgers bag that I have used in the past, and you can still get those. So I got my creamer and sugar. I'm just going to dump that in the bottom. And then I'm going to put this down on the bottom like that. It looks like that might have a little bit more coffee than the Folgers bag, so what I will do is I'll just add more water to it. So anyway, I'm going to take this into the kitchen. I'll put this in the water on the stove. And then I'm going to lay this tortilla just on the warm stove top to warm that up. Just some residual heat, and then I'll be right back. I'm actually going to leave my spork in there to try to hold that bag down because otherwise it will just want to float up. I'm going to change this angle just a hair because it wants to tip a little too far forward, not show the whole tray. No tear notches on any of these things, so I'm going to get the cheaters. The top side and the bottom side. They're as thick as Pilot bread crackers. They're just not as big as your standard Pilot bread crackers, so they're a little smaller in diameter. I'm going to open up the banana chips. It's kind of a backup plan in case I want. I brought out my cinnamon applesauce. There's James Ortiz in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And giving the jelly a need because I felt a couple of firmer spots and I've actually popped a couple of air bubbles in it as I'm doing this. So 1 ounce of jelly goes up to here when you squeeze pretty much all of it down. only fruits in here. They're apple juice and grape juice. Those are the only fruit flavors in this jelly. I'm going to go ahead and use this spork to give my drink, my lemon lime drink, another stir because it needs it. And I don't have to worry about it melting in the coffee. I do find one thing curious about these meals is why would they put this in here? Do they intend it as a dessert? Or do they intend this as like a 12-hour civilian ration where you would have a breakfast and then a lunch or something like that? And the latte, latte is a word that means milk. So I don't know why I would say latte instead of milk. Even on the ingredients, it says latte, but yet down there it says contains milk. So there's the ingredients. There's a Now the directions say there's a tear notch, but there's no tear notch that I could find. And the fill line is down here, but this is something that I would prefer to take on a camping trip. So that's where this will go. I'll stick this in my camping food bag. That way I can have it for my next camping trip where I might need to have a breakfast item that I can do real quick. Or I could use it for a breakfast during Ramadan when I eat at a time that's before first light, before the start of the morning prayer time. Then after that, I would not eat anything until just after sunset. This and that with Matt. Thanks for dropping in. I'm just going to check back to see if anyone else dropped in. Nope, looks like someone is having to slide. So whoever is leaving, Thanks for dropping by. You can always catch it on the replay later if you feel like it. I'm going to go ahead and get the spaghetti, and then I will bring something to put my spent coffee bag in. I'll be right back. I am back. I'm using a paper towel to dry off the spaghetti pouch. I do squeeze the coffee bags too. I'm opening up the tortilla. It started to split. I'm going to go ahead and open up the spaghetti. And just because I can't leave well enough alone, this is just some of my Parmesan cheese. I decided to pour just some out. Instead of making a mess with a big shaker. So that is the spaghetti. The sauce is a bit looser than a standard US MRE spaghetti. And it even looks a little bit different in color. Get this. Okay. There we go. Now it should be a little better focus, but that's what the sauce looks like. There's definitely a more pronounced tomato flavor in here. That is one of the meatballs. It does taste like a typical canned meatball, but better than Chef Boyardee meatballs. They do taste better than that. The noodles are quite soft though, but you know, that's typical of something you get out of retort pouch. Since this tortilla has already started to split, I'll go ahead and rip it completely in half. It's pretty dry. And it tastes like it's been around a little while. I think it needs a little bit of this. That coffee is actually not too bad. I like it. I got two of those in that box, so the other one is in my camping food bag where I originally put both of them, but then I got one of them out for tonight. There is no weight on this, but there's not a whole lot in here. But this is basically, it's a food service company that does packaging for their large commercial customers, like the company that put together these meals, or for hotels, any other large customer that would go through a whole lot of these individual packets like this. Go ahead and try one of the banana chips. These are dehydrated and not freeze-dried bananas. They're not too bad. I've had better, but I've had worse. But for a good on-the-go snack, yeah. These kind of taste like a saltine, but not as salty. But there's kind of that toasted, malted something in there. You know, but the pilot bread crackers, if these are the true pilot bread crackers, just not as big, when they're properly packaged and stored, they can last a long time. Think about this. You can see what the jelly looks like. Well, there we go. You do pick up the blend of both the grape and the apple, but neither fruit is really overly strong. But there is a lot of sauce in the spaghetti. Yeah, these are not completely tasteless. There is some salt in them, so they're not completely salt free. Yep. They're just a carrier for something else. And sometimes you could say the same about the tortillas. Just put a piece of the cracker into the sauce. That would be okay to do, but you got to have a little something to put your jelly on. Now these entrees are actually not too bad. I got two more of these. One is a vegetarian. That's a pasta fagioli. But the side items will be the same. It'll be these banana chips. It'll be the crackers. It'll be the jam, the tortilla, and the granola. I know nothing about what the intended market is for these particular things, if these are meant as disaster meals, either to be given to disaster survivors or for like relief personnel taking care of disaster survivors, or what these are intended for. There is no honey in this. This is not honey. This is a blended jam. It's or blended jelly. It's apple and grape. It probably looks like honey, but this is actually a blended jelly. Yeah, that might be, there may be some, well, if it's honey, it'll be probably in a packet like this. Yeah, some elements will be the same, some may be different, but you know, the honey would actually be good mixed with this because this already has honey in it. Want to go that route with it. There's Mike in the house. This is the spaghetti and meatballs. The whole wheat tortilla is a bit dry, but I dip it in the spaghetti. There's honey and stuff. Thanks for dropping in. First time seeing you here. I do these live ration reviews every Sunday, 7 p.m. U.S. Central, 8 Eastern. And this is, call it Chef 5 Express. It's the same company that does the Chef 5-minute meals because the logo looks the same. I got 3 of these in a box. So since I could not do a review of the RCIR that I received yesterday because custom thieves got their filthy claws on it and took the mains. They did leave me that pate, which I misread it. I thought it was a fish pate, but it's actually chicken pate and duck fat. So how they let that one go. Yeah, I just misinterpreted that one. But they let me keep that pate. Even though it has poultry in it. And as far as those little baby sporks that are only about that long unfolded that used to be in a stove kit box, there was none in there. And looking at the box, it looked like that it is not even pictured on there. So I can only assume that the French ration packer decided to get rid of that because they probably realized that it's so useless. I mean, you would have better luck with something like this in that ration as opposed to that little tiny spork that's no longer than this unfolded. But this apple grape jelly blend, it's not too bad. You know, the banana chips are pretty decent. These are not very sweet though. I've had some banana chips that were sweeter, so I don't know if just the bananas that they got a hold of when these are dehydrated or or if there was anything added to some other banana chips or what, but you know, they're not too bad. But these they call them cream crackers, but they're closer to pilot bread. Yeah, they do look like a pretty good. Now that little piece was a little bit sweeter than the previous one that I ate, so it just may depend on the banana. But this tortilla definitely is a bit dry. So I've been dipping it in the sauce. If you're referring to the that baby spork in the French ICIR, you tried to use one of those little things to eat your food out of those bigger cans. It's like using a standard teaspoon to dig a post hole. I mean, that should tell you about how useless they are for trying to eat out of those bigger cans. That thing was snap, especially if you're trying to eat something that's dense like a piece of meat or a bigger piece of a potato that hasn't gotten too soft or something like that. So basically, for the second time, I ordered an RCIR from Emery Mountain. I basically got a box of snacks and drinks and the other non-food items. And I've already since put those away. I went ahead and nibbled on a couple of the bars. But at least this time, they opened the box properly, and they just slit the plastic. They actually used the pull tabs instead of slice through the top of the box and almost cut other things open. And for my lunch today, I ate that minestrone soup with the salted biscuits or the so that was my lunch today. And that soup had zucchini in it. I've never heard of a minestrone soup with zucchini in it. But it works. Yeah, I would definitely get that soup again if I could. Yeah, banana chips are a good snack. And if you can catch the Augustin Farms banana chips in the number 10 cans when they go on sale on Amazon or any other site that sells them, you can actually get a decent price on them. And these don't have any drink options like the humanitarian daily rations don't. So I got one of those blue packet, the coffee bags. I put a little squirt of the jelly on a banana chip. Yeah, that was okay, but I think a strawberry would probably be a better fit. Strawberries and bananas are a real good combination. The spaghetti tastes like it's in this is closer to a marinara sauce. And you can actually see some of the bigger bits. I would not go there with blending the spaghetti with the banana. That's just something that I would not do. Now, gun dog, he might. Now, maybe that 8-year-old should try it. But I will stick to this the way it is. This is a better flavored sauce. It's not so sweet like some pasta sauces can be. Even though I added some Parmesan cheese to it, I didn't throw a huge amount in there, and it does not cover up the meatballs. It would have been nice to see a little bit more of the spaghetti and the meatballs in here. But as it is, I'm enjoying it. This is a U.S. Emery lemon lime drink. I was looking at some of the other drinks that I got recently, but I want to save those flavors for another time. Yeah, there's some flavors that I had not had before that I want to save them for when I want to have something different with them. One of them, I looked at the fruit punch. It's not like an American fruit punch. It's more tropical, and I'm guessing it's not going to be seriously red. Plus, those that are packed by or for Vesti Foods in the UK, they call for 500 mils of water. That's like 16.9 ounces. That's the same as the French drink powder, which is a strawberry mint flavor. That one will be interesting to try because I've never had that flavor of the French isotonic drink before. That's a new one on me. Yeah, I like experimenting, but I prefer to be a little bit more sensible about it. Like when I paired that vegetarian Polish cabbage roll with the lamb tuszonka that I got from Delicious, those two made a great meal. And it tasted even better the next day when I ate the rest of it. And I'm glad that box made it to me unadulterated, because I know he would have been very, very mad if that box would have got raided. I mean, he sent beef jerky that he made, but I got into it that night. I just had to. And it was really good. He makes a good beef jerky. Smokey knows about that beef jerky too. And it was good to see him on last night. Yeah, it was a bit tough, but you know, I'm sure as he does more of it, it'll get better. Or maybe that's just the style that he likes to make. Yeah, plus, it traveled across the ocean, and who knows what kind of environments or conditions it passed through on its way from Poland to here. Yeah, I know how that goes. I was eating some pizza, not Emery pizza, it was another pizza. And a tooth broke. Well, actually, it was, I thought the tooth itself broke, but it was actually the filling itself had come out. So I was able to get into the dentist office the following Monday, and get that fixed. And it happened to be on the same day that they did a root canal and a crown, so they were able to take care of both of those issues at one time, so I was happy about that. Now, he has also done some his own meat canning. He has made the Tashanka style meats that he's shown on his channel. I'd have to dig back probably, I think, last year, maybe the year before, into his archive to see when he showed some of those that he's done himself. But he does can his own meats. I don't know if he can do pressure canning in Poland or if he has to water bath everything. And some places they don't do pressure canning either, just because it's just never caught on or it's not allowed or something like that. My maternal grandmother used to do a lot of canning. I remember as a kid going into her basement and seeing her shelves full of jars. She would can peaches and pears and then various vegetables like carrots and green beans and any tomato stuff like tomato sauce. Well then, folks, I guess you have to soak one of these, huh? Nope. Yeah, when I was doing clinicals, when I was doing nurse aid training, both beginning and advanced, we went to nursing homes for that, and they have patients or residents who have to have all of their food pureed instead of left in its whole form. Like, because they either can't chew or something, or they have to have their food completely, basically eating adult versions of baby food. Yep. Everyone else gets sliced apples or baked apples. Get applesauce. Well, somewhat, except for with baby food, you don't have as many of the flavorings, the seasonings, or the extra ingredients. Like the one place I was at that actually had, they took a dressing like you get with a turkey dinner and pureed that. It took the meat and pureed that up. And one of them even had toast pureed. Hmm. Elsie, that is one thing I'm not familiar with. That sounds like it might come from Northern Europe. Some, something like where Emphasis is from. I could be wrong. Actually, if you came here to Des Moines, I bet Fong's Pizza would do a mac and cheese pizza. You can come to restaurants here and get a mac and cheese on a burger. Yeah, Fong's Pizza is a local place here in Des Moines that does fusion pizzas. People that own it are Asian, but they probably have some Italian in their family by who married who. But what they love to do is they love to take Asian flavors or Latino flavors and put them on a pizza. Now, you can get breakfast pizzas at some places. A friend I used to go to school with had a place near her where she would get breakfast pizzas. And you can get them at night during dinner hours instead of just for breakfast. But when I went to visit her in Council Bluffs, Iowa, which is across the river from Omaha, Nebraska, we would get either an extra large or something more than we can eat for supper, and then we would eat the rest of it in the morning for breakfast. Oh, wow. Elsie, that actually sounds good. I've never had that particular berry. I've had the currant before in the form of the jam or a jelly, but that particular lingonberry, I don't know anything about that. Are they kind of like, are they closer to a cherry crossed with a gooseberry or something like that? I'm just guessing. I did bring out one more thing in addition to this applesauce if I wanted to go for it. But instead, I decided to get out this biscolata. I thought this would be something interesting to try. These are individually wrapped, or at least two sleeves. I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these sleeves. So it's a cookie. that is inside of the lump. It's kind of like a nutty cream filling. It's not really white. It may look white because of the lighting, but it looks like it might be the color of that coffee eggnog that I had on New Year's Day. Or may look like the color of one of those iced coffee drinks, but a little bit lighter than that as far as color. These look a little darker on the wrapper than they do when you open them up. You would think this looks like a dark chocolate, but it is a milk chocolate. It says milky on there. This says milk cream. This is Turkish. This writing here that says where it's made from is Turkish. And here it says also that it's made in Turkey. I can probably find these at Hillel Groceries. Because they do get in a lot of Turkish candies there. But these are really good. I've never had a Kinder Bueno, but I've had those Aero bars that are very similar in texture. They're light and crispy. Say those wafer cookies that you've seen me get from Walgreens, but think of that with a lighter, crispier texture and then chocolate covered. That milk cream is very light, so it was whipped to get air into it. Basically, like a flavored whipped cream. That's pretty much what that is. I don't know who the. I think there's someone in here who's older than me. I'm only 57. Well, not necessarily toothless. My niece has dentures. And she's only in her 20s. So you don't have to be older than dirt to be toothless. She just had bad teeth and decided to get them all yanked and get dentures. So that will be pretty much it as far as the food goes that I'm planning on eating. Then this I'm going to save for a camping trip in the future. I don't see a Best Buy date on here, so I'm pretty sure in this type of packaging it should last for a few days at least. But they put the seal way down here instead of up here where you'd think they would put it. Yeah, that's why I want to save this for a camping trip, or I can use it during Ramadan when I want to have a breakfast. Yeah, the food is just above the fill line here. So these don't take a whole lot of water unless you want to make it a little extra loose. But these I will also put into my camping food bag because it just allows me to have more than enough seasoning. And of course, we all know about these peppermints. I'll just suck on them later. And since I didn't use this napkin, I will save it. And even this, because this is not used, I will save this. When I wash up, I wash the spork and I will put it into a bag where I keep my forks. In fact, I have to start a new bag because I filled up the last one. Of course, I saved this ration heater, but what I do is I take the water, I cut this open, I take the water pouch out, and I store it separate from the heater bag. That way, there is less risk of the water pouch popping. So that's how I store these. When I get these with the water pouch that's already in the heater bag. So that's what I'll do with this. But these are rockets. These are good heaters. So they're worth saving for emergency use. But if I had one of those French mains, I could stick that bugger in here and heat that up. Yeah, that's why I want to save these. I save every FRH that I can. Because there may be a time where I have to use them or I can barter them. You know, I could use it to heat up food, I could use it to heat up water, or I could use it to heat up me. Use it as a temporary warmer. Or something, but yeah, I do want to hold on to these. Yeah, the water that is in here has something added to it to help the FRH kick off. To make it work better. Some may have salt already in them. I have a couple of the water pouches that have, well, it says bleach on it. So I could either use that water to disinfect the surface with or use it in an FRH. So this water pouch will go with all the other ones that I have stored up. Yeah, we haven't had see, when Obama was elected, he was already in his 40s, I believe. It's been a long time since the U.S. has had a president who first took office in their 30s. Her, yeah, she probably knows quite a bit of stuff, or is savvy enough to find out what she needs to know. That's probably why she got elected. Yeah. You have to be at least 25 to be a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, 30 to be a U.S. Senator. I don't know what the minimum age is for vice president. I don't remember seeing that anywhere. I don't know how it is in other countries. I haven't studied much of that. A few bits of cracker crumb. I'm not going to let those get away. I do have pilot crackers stashed away. As part of my long-term food storage. Let's see, next week. What am I going to do next week? I have the two halal emeries. I've had both of those menus before. I got one of my other favorite MRA's jalapeno beef patty. I really enjoy that one. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, I could see that kind of scrutiny on fresh items, but packaged and sealed, like in a can or a retort pouch or even a freeze dried, I don't see the problem with that because you cannot get something nasty from that, something that is properly processed and sealed, unless it is damaged. If an item is damaged, yeah, I don't care if that's taken out. Because then I don't have to bother with dealing with a damaged, you know, I don't want to deal with something like this if it gets poked and everything squeezed out. I don't want to bother with that. I don't mind if, you know, when I came back to the U.S. from Mexico back in 1986, we had rules that you could not bring fresh produce over the border. But none of us are doing that anyway. But a couple of people got bottles of tequila, and they were allowed to bring those across the border. I don't know if anyone brought any Mexican beer across. I didn't see any of that. But I had a packet of certs that I had bought in the Guadalajara airport. And when the customs person asked me if I had anything to declare, I said, yeah, it's hot outside. And then I took one of those certs out of my pocket and put it in my mouth. I didn't declare the silver items that I had brought back because it would have been under the threshold anyway. I had a few pesos in my pocket, but I didn't declare those because that would be that would have been less than 1 cent. Maybe a 20th of a cent in total value of what I had in my pocket. Because at that time, it took like 650, 675 pesos to equal $1. In fact, I was using coins that had a value of 200 pesos. And the smallest note I had was for 500. Oh, there is Nation MRA Info dropping that super chat. That's greatly appreciated. Well, that might get me one postage stamp if I wanted to run for office, and if I did, I would start very local first. Yeah, I wouldn't go for the top right away. I would want to get some experience at the lower levels first. Even in high school, I was class treasurer before I became class president, or I was a secretary for. I think I was treasurer one year, then secretary another year, then president my last year in high school. Yeah, but remember, he spent a lot of his own money on the campaign. I can't do that. Oh, where to begin? Homestead is here. Thanks for dropping in. I've already eaten all the food that I had planned on eating, but I'll show you this. This is just one of the items. It's a breakfast item, but Chef 5 Express. It's the same company that does the Chef 5-minute meals. It's an American-made meal packet, like a civilian ration. This one had banana chips, spaghetti with meatballs, and what tasted more like a marinara sauce than your typical spaghetti sauce, which I didn't mind. It had one wheat tortilla. It had a couple of smaller pilot crackers that are about as big as this circle here in this tray. Had some banana chips. And it had jelly that's blended grape and apple. And you get a salt-free seasoning packet and salt and pepper. I didn't use either of these, so these will go into my camping food bag. I got 2 bags, 2 Ziploc bags that I keep seasonings in, so I'll put these in one of those. Get a little napkin, this spork, and you get if you're eating this, say if you're taking it camping or something, and you want to put your food out onto something, you could use this. But because I didn't use it, I will save it. And you get a little napkin, which I will also save. I didn't use it. No drink options, so I just pulled a lemon lime drink from my stash. This is my favorite drink mix out of a USMRE. And then the coffee was one of those blue coffee bags. Well, the coffee bag itself is not blue, the packet that I was in. And I have a little creamer and sugar in it. And it's a pretty good coffee. This is the Tag Cuvée. That's a brand. And it was in one of the boxes that I got. And this coffee bag, what I will do with it, because I compost, I will cut this coffee bag open and drop it into my compost bucket, which I did empty out into my bigger one that's on the deck. Well, actually, I emptied it into another container out there because the bucket on the deck is about full. Even though it's compacted down from just sitting out there. Yeah, it's freezing and thawing. But I compost the coffee grounds. Sorry, brief disconnect. That does happen sometimes. So that will get added to my pots on the deck that I will plant in. I rescued a couple more in October or November, I think it was, that were behind a dumpster. So one had a plant in it. I took the remnants of that out. At least the part of it that was above the ground. There is Shadow Scout Sweet in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So I have all the soil and compost mixed as in the other pots that I previously had. There you go. Get you some of this. So probably next month I'll probably just buy a couple of bags of organic potting soil, and I have it delivered because this particular brand that I used last year, I did buy a couple of other ones from Target. I bought one from Target. It was a smaller bag. I could put it inside my grocery hauler suitcase and still fit a few other things in. That was the same day I bought that Fisker's trowel, and I bought a vehicle fire extinguisher because I could fit it in there. I figured if I'm going to buy something like that, some things I want to be more discreet about. I also had a Turkish chocolate covered wafer bar. So this was also in one of the boxes that I got. This biscolata. Now, I was telling the others that anything that I do not use that comes out of a ration, I save. I have a bag that I stick napkins in that I get from rations, or say next week when I have my first track meeting of the year over at the Dart bus station. We'll have lunch, and if I get a utensil set with the meal, if I don't use one, I don't throw it away. I just bring it home. And I just add it to my stash. Yeah. seasoning packets like this I save. Oh, Nation, you didn't have to drop that second super chat, but that's greatly appreciated. Well, if there was a timeout, consider it a practice. I had a moderator that was just made a moderator put me in timeout as a practice, just to see, because in this particular chat, not too many knew how it worked or what the person who was put in timeout could do or not do. So a person who has just made a mod put me on timeout, and I waited till the timeout was over, and then I could chat again. So I was able to watch and listen. I just couldn't chat. And that's pretty much what the timeout does, is you cannot chat for, it says 300 seconds, but it's like 5 or so minutes. But sometimes a timeout can happen by accident. But you're not kicked out as if you're hidden. If you get hidden from a chat, that means you cannot come back in. You're booted out completely from that chat. I don't think you could even watch the remainder of that stream or premiere. But I don't know. I would have to go into a chat where I'm not a mod, and I would say, go ahead, hide me, and see if I can continue to watch, or if I'm completely booted out. If I can no longer watch the stream, the live video, or if I just cannot see the chat at all, or what, And of course they would and unhide me because, I accidentally hid someone. I meant to hide a porno dork, and I hit on someone else because it takes me a lot longer to do it because my connection is a bit iffy at times. So someone else would unhide that person. Yeah, like I said, it was you can hit timeout by accident on the person you don't want to time out, or it just happens. Sometimes their chat jumps when you're trying to do that. That's why I usually leave it to the other mods who are faster at it than me. And that's why I have modified a few more people for my channel that way. Since I don't see the chat constantly, unless I keep tapping my phone screen. Then I don't catch a lot of the crap. Of course, there wasn't any crap in here tonight, which is good. You go into some chats, what they'll do is they'll turn on a filter, which means you have to be subscribed for a certain amount of time before you can chat. And so if someone wanted to drop any comments but were not subscribed, they would have to subscribe first. And then that amount of time would go by before that person could drop their first comment in the chat. But I can't ask my dad anything. He died back in '08, so forget that. Plus, he died poor anyway. He only left a few things of value to my mom, and then she sold off those things in order to pay for some of my dad's final expenses that were not covered by the payment that my mom got from Genesis Cancer Research for the donation of his body to their research facility. And then that money was used to cover other final expenses that could not be paid for previously. So yeah, so well, now you know what roughly how long a timeout is. You know what you can do and what you can't do during that time. Well, I don't check on children because I don't know of any. When you're in timeout, you can see the chat. You just cannot add to it. It's not like the chat completely disappears. You just can't do anything. You can't add to it while you're in timeout. I have been kicked out of stream chats, but if it wasn't done by a mod, because I'm a mod in several other channels, but I've been kicked out either because of my internet or some system burp somewhere, and I had to reload the browser and get back in. Thanks for dropping in. So again, Where to Begin Homestead is a channel that does homesteading stuff. A little bit of prepping related stuff. Well, like I said earlier, consider it a practice. No, Elsie, don't worry about it. It was an oops. Yeah, it happens. Like I said, that your chat can be jumping, or you go to hit on something and completely different, and you're ended up doing a timeout. And some mods in some chat, it'd be everything's going good, and then all of a sudden, the wrench is taken away from that mod, and it wasn't done by the channel owner. It was done by some AI thingy somewhere else, and then that person would have to be remodified again. That has happened. Yeah, and when your chat freezes and then just blows up, that's why I try to stay out of that. I mean, I watch on my Kindle. Yeah, I have a laptop because I can't separate the screen from the keyboard. It's hard for me to use all the time. So right now, I only use it when I need to process a huge video file that's too big to do on a phone for uploading. Say, I shoot a bunch of video at camp. I'll just dump it onto the laptop and then run it through my OpenShot. And then upload from there. But I have to be able to separate the screen from the keyboard and put the screen in a position that is best for me to look at it. Whereas on my Kindle, I use a wireless keyboard. It's a Bluetooth keyboard that I've paired to the Kindle, so I can position it where I want. So, but it's not as good as having a desktop computer where I can have the keyboard separate from the screen and I can position both where I want them. That just best suits the way my vision is. Yeah, I do that. In fact, I'm doing that right now, but when you're watching on when you're doing this from a phone, after if you don't constantly do it, the chat will just disappear. Like it just now faded out. And it will not show up again until someone drops another comment or I touch the screen. That's the way it is when you're doing it on a phone. But this Revo 5G phone is bigger than my Galaxy S5 screen. The phone itself is a bit bigger, so that does make it easier. But my desktop computers are both pretty much oversized power banks. That's all they're good for right now. Yeah, I know I do that when I watch a video on my phone. I can do that. Or sometimes the video will be on the left half of the screen and the chat will be on the right half. But because I'm streaming from a phone, I have to keep it horizontal, otherwise it may not look right, and I'll get a message saying that I need to reposition my phone screen to what is known as landscape mode. Basically putting it back horizontal. But I can't put my Kindle on this phone mount because the jaws on it that hold the phone, there's no way it can accommodate a Kindle. Yeah, I have done that before. I would have a chat on one device and a video on another, but I'm constantly looking away. And that could bother some people. They think I'm not paying attention, or I don't know. It was just a little hard. If I had a setup like Gil does, where he has two monitors connected to one computer, he can have YouTube up on one, he can have StreamYard up on the other, and because they're connected, he can move things from literally from one screen to another because of the way he has that system set up to split the output into two different screens. If I had that kind of a setup with a desktop computer, then I could have a webcam on one of them or mounted somewhere else. So that's why I don't get into any lives as a guest on a panel. I tried that once with Gil, but because my connection here is not that great, I kept getting all froze up and kicked out because he was doing a discussion on water storage, and then he wanted me on there to show how I store water in a small apartment. So I was trying to show that, but I just could not do much with the StreamYard on the phone. I was on my Galaxy S5. It probably would have worked better if I had something like this Revo 5G. But this phone is not that old. I've had that Galaxy S5 since 2014, I think. Well, thanks for dropping in, James. So that's why I'm not a guest on anyone's panels, because I don't think my Wi-Fi can handle it. Uh, it would have to be greatly improved here with better upload speeds. Because right now I don't have, I'm lucky if I'm getting 10 megabits per second. Or is my download speed, I can get up to 100. So there's a big difference there. But this is the best that I can get here. I can't go satellite because I'm on the wrong side of the building. And plus they wouldn't allow dishes on the building anyway. Plus there are no decks on that side of the building. And we will not get fiber optic put in here for several years. The east side of Des Moines always gets shafted when it comes to infrastructure improvements like that. Well, at least what I got here is better than what I get from the phone company, DSL. Plus, they throttle you big time. So, Mediacom right now is the best that I can get. I see ads for Verizon Home Internet, but I don't know enough about what they use as far as getting the signal. Yeah, that's what my problem was, because my upload speed could not handle the amount of data that was being forced at it. So that's just why I won't do it anymore until something can get improved around here. We don't have that option here. There's another one that I had asked about, but you have to have what's called line of sight to something that would be put up somewhere. But the problem is, when the trees in front of my apartment leaf out, that is too much of an obstruction. And plus, the trees in the park are too much of an obstruction when they leaf out. And then beyond that is a house that's up on a hill. I don't even remember what the name of that company was. So that one would be out. And, plus whatever I would have to be in line of sight with, would have to be very close, since I have those trees in between me and the street, and then between the street and a park, and then the street that's on the other side of the park. So that just wouldn't work. And I don't know what Verizon uses. I see Verizon Home Internet. I don't know what kind of a system they use to send you data and for you to send data up to. I don't know what that is. So I'm guessing it uses similar type of a setup where you have to be in a line of sight from something, from some kind of a node, kind of like a cell tower. But for now, Mediacom is the better of the two options that I have. I have a mobile hotspot, but that would be, that would be not much better than the DSL. So I prefer to save that for travel, or if there's a power outage in my area, but yet it's not citywide. So that's why I don't use my hotspot much. But maybe one of these years things will change around here and we'll get better internet, or if Mediacom decides to go with fiber optic before the phone company does. And I will not say their name in public again because they have screwed people over. In fact, they face some lawsuits because of their deceptive marketing. They claim to be faster than cable when they're not. And they like to throttle their customers halfway through the billing cycle, or maybe before. But anyway, enough about that nonsense. Well, let's see. I think I'll change the subject and say, what should I do next week? And I got that 1776 emery in the Mylar bag. I got 2 halal emeries, one newer pack style, one older pack style. I got a Norwegian vegetarian ration, which I've had that one before, but I really liked it. The main is a pasta and a tomato sauce. And I got other U.S. emeries. I got the jalapeno beef patty. I got a ravioli. I got the spinach fettuccine. Now that I have that pouch of chicken chunks, I can put that with the fettuccine. That spinach fettuccine. I like it. Some people don't. But that one is no longer in the lineup. I don't remember what it got replaced with, but I do like that one, and I like messing with it, adding stuff to it. I got a few options. Yep, I should probably do that too. In fact, because I have an event at the mosque tomorrow, I will be getting up. I got the alarm set for the same time I use on Friday mornings, although I might not actually head out quite that early. But I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. Again, I do want to thank you all for hanging out with me, especially those who come here for the first time. And thanks to Nation for dropping the super chats. That's greatly appreciated. So maybe the Zappos will make an appearance at another time. Oh, let's see. I'll just say this before I sign off. It would be a halal one. And it would probably be one with lamb in it. Maybe a fusion of flavors, like maybe a little curry, a little Latino or Italian, something like that. Yeah, I would probably make it some kind of a fusion with a halal meat. That's probably what I would go for if I had the opportunity to create my own ration. But yeah, that'll be who knows, maybe I'll get the odd opportunity. But anyway, I'll think about what I'm going to pull out next Sunday. And I'll toss a post up on my community tab and maybe somewhere on Facebook. So anyway, thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.